Hello and welcome to the Classroom Connection, the show that takes you inside Marion County Public Schools. I'm Kevin Christian, your host, and coming up on today's show, you're going to see how two strong muscle men can impact an entire school. Then you'll discover what's behind Ocala's last honor flights to our nation's capital. And finally, what inspires young people to read a novel about dying? Well, the answer may very well surprise you. However, up first today, though, Marion County's newest school board member. Now, you may recall a couple of months back, you met Carol Ely, elected to serve on the school board starting this month. Voters also elected a second new school board member who starts this month as well. She is Nancy Stacy, a longtime education advocate in our community, and she now joins us right here on our set. So, Ms. Stacy, great to see you.
Nice to be here, Kevin.
First up, let me ask you, why do you want to be part of the school board?
Well, I've been a part of the school system as my children went through the school system. My three children went through kindergarten all the way through and then continued on to state universities. I have two engineers and a math major. My children got such a great education in the Marion County Public School System, and I decided to be a part of it after my children have retired from it, and now I'm going back to school.
You're going back to school to learn,
I'm going
right?
back to school.
What sparked the interest in being part of public education?
I've always been a person that traveled the path other people didn't travel sometimes. I never traveled the path of least resistance. Years ago, an education issue woke me up. I was living a very normal life as a businesswoman, raising my three children, and an issue came up about 20 years ago that made me realize I better get involved.
Year-round schools, right?
Year-round school. Yeah. And that was a good thing for me because I got involved in the schools. I became active in every part of the school system. The teachers called me to help them as issues over the next 20 years arose. I was successful in helping the teachers and helping the parents to make some positive changes, and it worked so well for me on the outside, I decided to try it from the inside.
Well, I hope the view from the inside is as good as it was from the outside. You're about to find that out.
I'm about to find
shortly.
that out.
What do you focus on now? You're taking office this month, and you're going to be in the hot seat.
I kind of enjoy the hot seat.
I'm not surprised at that.
I fit quite well in the hot seat. I don't like to take on battles I cannot win. A very German girl. I like to win. My focus over the last 20 years has evolved pretty much where I began 25 years ago when I adopted my third child. We had two children, and I decided to adopt a child from a foreign country, from an at-risk child. And my husband was quite surprised. He said, we can have children for free on our insurance, and you want to adopt a baby that's going to be quite expensive to adopt a baby from a foreign country. I just felt that that was my calling. And today, she came from a birth family where her mother could not even write her name. Her mother had never been to school a day in her life. Today, my daughter is a graduate engineer from the University of Florida. So I guess my love for the at-risk child began with her. Today, that is my focus. I am most interested in our at-risk children in our district because I believe that, like my daughter, if someone just gives them a little help along the way, helps the parents a little bit, I plan to mentor parents that they were at risk as a child. We've got generations of at-risk children.
Sure, the cycle repeats.
The cycle repeats, and I will not ask those parents to come to me. I will go to them where they are to show them I care enough to go to them. And I believe I'll have great success. Might not save them all, but the one we save may be President of the United States one day or Governor of Florida. Who knows? I expect my daughter one day to be a congressman, but Republican.
There's no question about that either. Nancy, how do you not get caught up in becoming part of this whole government bureaucracy that is such a bad word in today's vocabulary?
First of all, you don't get caught up in the excitement. Power corrupts. The Bible talks about it. It's a fact. We know that power corrupts. We've known about it since the beginning of time, since the written scriptures. And I guess I'll just remain in prayer and ask those around me to keep me in their prayers, that I don't get sucked into the bureaucracy, and I will fight that because I will never go against my heart. Mm-hmm. I will always vote based upon what I believe is the right thing to do. I am not here to serve 2 terms on the school board. I am here to serve 1 term. If I do a good job, I will be elected to a 2nd term. But I will not start on November the 20th looking towards my 2nd term. And I believe that's the way a lot of politicians go into politics. Sure. I will go into it doing what I believe is right from day one and let things fall where they may.
As you take office and become an active part of the Marion County School Board, what's the one promise you want to keep?
The one promise I want to keep? That I will never go to the dark side. I will always keep the teachers, the students, and the taxpayers first and foremost on my mind. I guess that is my focus, are teachers and students, and they will always come first. And that's my promise, that will always come first.
When people ask you about Marion County Public Schools, now that you're a school board member, what do you tell them? What's the response?
The response, my children did great in the Marion County Public Schools. I am a proponent of the public schools, but I'm also a proponent of charter schools. Mm-hmm. I believe that charter schools, the school choice, I guess it's the school choice issue with the charter school that I really like. And I believe that competition will even improve our schools more. I support Francis Marion Military Academy. Mm-hmm. That is also something that I'm very, very interested in supporting. And it's interesting, Mr. Archibald is probably one of my favorite people right now. And he's doing such a great job. And probably I will be talking a lot about charter schools. When you ask me what will I be talking about in Marion County about the schools, I will be talking about Francis Marion Military Academy a lot.
Is that because they offer something that's different than what our other schools offer?
It's because they promote a school of discipline, a school where character matters in the school. We have teachers there that have taken a reduction in pay to remain at that school, almost as though it's their witness, because the teachers there see what kind of program that is. Mm-hmm. And they're so dedicated to what they see that could become. And Sarasota, the military academy there, is just about world class. And Francis Marion is the 2nd military charter school in the United States. And I will be doing everything I can to help them in any way I can, if it means working at their car washes. I will do that.
I'm sure Mr. Archibald will hold you to that.
And I will.
I've got enough time for one more question here quickly, and this is the same question I asked your colleague who's joining the school board as well. Which is bigger for you, being there for the kids or being there for the taxpayers?
I believe if you're there for the kids, you'll be there for the taxpayers, because the taxpayers are for the kids. And that's where people get really caught up in pitting education against the taxpayers. There's not a taxpayer in Marion County that doesn't want a good education for children, but they also do not work too hard for their money to throw it away on programs that are not working. Mm-hmm. So I don't see how you could be for one and not be for the other, because the taxpayers are for the children, and not funding programs that don't work is a positive thing for the kids, because children only get one opportunity in education. Mm-hmm. And if you throw a whole lot of money at something that's not really working, what have you done for the kid except set him back? Because he never gets a chance again.
Right. Well, unfortunately, I'm out of time. Okay. I could certainly ask you a lot more questions, but we'll have that opportunity for the next 4 years at least.
Yes, you will.
So thanks for joining us today, and good luck as one of the newest members on the school board.
I'll never give up my activist hat.
Okay.
I will have 2 hats.
I believe that. Well, inspiring teenagers to read can be a daunting task, as many people know, but author Neal Shusterman has figured it out, apparently. Well, he recently came to Ocala on a national book tour, talking with students reading his book, Unwind. Here's Chadwick Pierce with the story.
Imagine a world where children between the ages of 13 and 18 can have their body parts harvested for future use. Luckily for us, this world is fictional and only exists in Neal Shusterman's book, Unwind, which high school students in Marion County are currently reading. And they all had an opportunity to see and meet Shusterman recently when he visited on his national book tour.
In that process, you never lost consciousness, so you never actually died. But where are you?
A teacher at Denellen High School discovered the book and thought it would be perfect for her class.
I went to the librarian at Forest High School at the time and asked her, I need a book to read with my anatomy students. And she handed me Unwind. Well, I started reading it on a cruise and fell in love with it and started looking at all of the different issues that go on in this book, Unwind, and looked at it from a genetics standpoint because I thought my biology students would enjoy this more than my anatomy honors students, and it was more on their level. So I finished the book. I got everything together for it with projects, and I got some great projects out of these books, but it caught those biology kids' attention. And I teach reading in my biology class, and incorporating this book not only got them interested in reading outside of the classroom, but it improved their FCAT reading scores at the same time.
How Shusterman came to visit the students in Ocala is a whole other story.
I came to be in Ocala because of Joe and Lorenco, and she contacted me a few years ago wanting to do a school visit, but with budgets it's always very difficult to organize that. For the book tour, I had said that I'll come to the schools for free if we can get the students to purchase 200 books, and that's how he managed to get me here. And so between all the schools, 200 books were purchased, and I came to do this visit for free.
Shusterman visits with students because he sees true value in spending some time with his readers.
I think it's crucial to come out and speak to students because, first of all, it helps me connect with the audience that I'm writing for. And for the students, a lot of students, to connect with literature, they need to know there's a person behind it putting it out there for them. I want to be able to share my experience as a writer and share with them how I created this story for them so that they can really connect with the literature that they're reading.
One student has actually had a change of heart about her own attitude in life just from reading Shusterman's book.
When I started reading this book and I found out how Connor would act towards his parents, it sort of made me think that I've had my points where I just lose my temper and I'm disrespectful, and I noticed that I do that a lot. And after reading that, I was like, wow, he's being really disrespectful to his parents, and I would never do that to my mom, ever.
Unwind is on the teen read list, and already many of the students you just saw tell us they're excited about reading Shusterman's other two books in the trilogy, Unholy, which is already out, and Unsold, which comes out next year. Well, as any parent or teacher will tell you, sometimes the hardest part of teaching kids is simply getting their attention. Well, Joel Hartley introduces us to a group that recently stopped by East Marion Elementary, and you could say getting the kids' attention is their strong point.
We talk about drugs and alcohol and the dangers of those stealing your dreams. Bullying is a very big topic that we talk about in schools across America, how that can steal young people's goals and dreams. And so really we just want to encourage them. There's so many negative things in the world today that are affecting our young people, our students, and we just want to give them a message of hope, of encouragement, to know that they can do it, they can make it happen.
That isn't a message the students at East Marion haven't heard before, but the strength team puts its own twist on things.
What is breaking a brick or breaking a baseball bat, what does that have to do with your message? It really has nothing to do with the message. But we live in a sports-driven society. People are drawn to a sporting event, and so we just use the sporting aspect as a draw to be able to get someone's attention. And then, like I said, once we get their attention, then we can get a message into their heart.
The team used audience and even principal participation to illustrate how one small mistake may not have much effect on you.
My little problems, my little bad choices, I don't think they affect me. I mean, I can still run around, right? We can jump up and down, right?
But can open the door to bigger.
For the sake of the illustration, Walter's going to represent some bigger bad choices.
I can jump
and bigger mistakes.
I need one more person. I need the principal.
Which really start to weigh you down.
I think all kids need to know about the fact that their choices have an effect on what happens in their life. And the strength team does a great job of drawing people in because of their feats of strength and the things that they do that automatically draw people to them, and then they can send out a message that the choices you make are going to impact not only your life, but the lives of other people around you. And they need to hear that, and they need to hear it at an early age.
Everybody say pull!
I think it was good for the students because now they know not to do drugs, smoking, tobacco, or be bullying. Because it's not good for their health, and it can give them cancer, and it's mean.
People are going to come along, they say, man, you can't do it. You're not big enough. You're not strong enough. You're not smart enough, right? And what are they doing? They're trying to rip his goal and dream out of his hands, but he's not letting go. Everybody say, hold on. Everybody say, don't let go.
I thought it was really inspiring me to not do drugs, smoke, and stuff like that. Because it makes you not be successful, and it damages your health and your grades.
I actually had a staff member come up and say this is one of the best programs I've ever had here because of the message and the way they kept the students' attention. And so hopefully through that it'll have an impact. And if you have one or two students who can stand up and go, that's not the right choice, and they start infecting other students with that, then the message got through.
No children were harmed in the making of that video, but they certainly left the cafeteria energized about making good, strong decisions in life. Veterans give our students so much, first with their service to our country and then with their visits to our schools as both volunteers and walking and talking history exhibits. In some small way, we give back each November when our district hosts the Veterans Day celebration at the Veterans Memorial Park in Ocala. But just like many of our veterans who went above and beyond the call of duty, recently, so did a few cadets from Westport High School's Junior ROTC program. You see, they were escorts on the final honor flights, taking World War II veterans to our nation's capital to see their memorial. Once again, here's Joel Hartley.
Today was absolutely beautiful. To be honored so much by so many people. Being greeted in the airport in Baltimore, and just a fantastic time being at the World War II Memorial brings back a lot of memories. And then, of course, seeing the changing of the guard.
In the 7 years since the first honor flight, the network has transported over 80,000 World War II veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit their memorial. With the average age of these men and women pushing 90 years old, they aren't as spry as when they parachuted into Normandy or hit the beach at Iwo Jima, and they need a little help getting around. That's where volunteers like the Westport Junior ROTC come in.
It was exciting and interesting. We got to see a lot of memorials and drove by a lot more that we couldn't exactly stop at, but I got to help a veteran. I pushed him all around the World War II Memorial and up the hill to where they changed the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and I participated in a color guard there.
It is requested that everyone remain silent and standing during this ceremony.
4.5 million people visit Arlington each year, but very few get the chance to do what Game did.
Myself and two other cadets marched up with one of the guards, and we presented a wreath to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. It was such an honor.
The veterans and their student escorts spent about 16 hours together and came away impressed with each other.
I was surprised at how much they talked and how silly they were. Like, they were nice and funny, and they joked around, and they had stories that were very interesting, and I'll remember it for a lifetime.
It means a whole lot that people take that kind of interest, the young people take that kind of interest, and have the kind of leadership that they do to make them what they are. And they're just beautifully dressed, well-mannered, and well carried.
These men and women that served our country in World War II, they saved our world. These are not some virtual representation. These are the real heroes. And every trip that we've made, we've included young people to go on the trip with us. We've been very thankful to have them go. We want them to be a part. We want them to experience of being there with these real heroes.
The trip wasn't a complete success, as mechanical problems with one of the two planes left half of the veterans and their escorts behind in Ocala.
I was a bit disappointed in everything. I was ready to go, all excited for the whole day, get to have the whole experience of Washington, D.C. and all the monuments. And then just, it was kind of a letdown to be ready to go and then it not happen. And I know that many of the veterans were all just sad and like they're pretty disappointed with the whole thing.
Plans are being made to take that group to Washington in the spring once the weather warms up, and Game has some advice for anyone considering going.
It was amazing, and if anybody had an opportunity to do it, I'd take that chance. I'd tell them to take that chance.
On behalf of all of us here at Marion County Public Schools, we say thank you, veterans, for your outstanding service. Over the years, we've brought you dozens of stories about high school athletics, even a few about former student athletes who've moved on to the college and professional ranks. But I don't think we've ever brought you a story about athletes before they reach high school. That is, until today. Thanks to Joel Hartley, here's a story of the wildly popular volleyball at Fort King Middle School.
This year it was around 76 exactly that tried out. Last year it was close to 100. There you go, perfect. It takes me 2 days to try these students out. I do like A to M one day and then the next day do the rest. We had double elimination this year. I had so many girls that were reasonably talented, I had to cut 40 down to 20.
Everybody wants to have something to do, like a sport after school.
It does give us something to do after school, especially if you don't have sports, if you don't do any sports. And I think it just gives you something extra to think about.
I kind of needed something to do, and it was better, and it keeps you out of trouble. And I thought it'd be really fun, and you make new friends playing too.
Practically bursting at the seams, Fort King's volleyball program was originally created to teach the game to players before they reached high school.
I started playing because I needed practice for high school years, and this was the best way to do it.
Basically, the program was designed to get these girls ready to play high school. As a high school freshman coach, I saw that the girls really didn't understand what team was, what commitment was, what the expectations were for it to be on a high school team.
In addition to volleyball skills, the girls also learn social skills.
I like meeting new people and having a team to look after.
It teaches you to have a lot of confidence in the other girls, and you guys kind of connect through a sport.
You learn how to tolerate people who have different interests than you. No one's the same, so people act different. So you learn to tolerate different people's personalities and how they are and how they act. And you get to develop new friendships too.
Not every school has a program like Fort King, so to find matches for his squad, Dan Doobie has adopted the mentality of any team, anytime, anywhere.
I email every principal asking them, who's your volleyball coach? Can I have their email? I want to play games. If you're willing to play, we'll go to you. We also will play anyone that offers. The parents of these girls would like to play a game against them, we'll play them. We played Redeemer Academy. We played 3rd and 4th graders. Little ones, they're really small. We'll even play a high school team if they offer. Send the Forest girls over, we'll take them. We don't mind. Just good experience.
In addition to volleyball, middle school athletes take part in cross country, basketball, and track and field during the springtime months. Well, each month here, we feature someone who loves their job with our school district. The unsung heroes of our technical services department have reasons of their own to love their jobs. So this month, we peer into the locksmithing world, a secret society of sleuths who can conjure up a key for just about anything. You might be surprised with this month's Why I Love My Job segment. Take a look.
Yes. You have an individual key? Is that individual key work in the offices inside too?
I enjoy my job because every day it's a challenge. I never know what kind of work order a foreman will give me. It may be anything from unlocking a file cabinet to totally rekeying doors because of a security breach. I love my job because it's challenging. It amazes people when you go to pick open a lock with just 2 pieces of metal. Even in my home life, picking open my house, it gives me peace of mind to know that our school children are safe, and I have a big part to do with it. Also, it gives me satisfaction that when I complete a job, I can sign my name to it with pride, saying that I have done it, and I've done it to the best of my ability.
Well, this month offered a look into one man's job that he loves. But it just so happens in the same field of work, another gentleman loves his job just as much as Henry's.
I'd say that's probably our culprit. Well, the job I do specifically is it's never the same thing every day. You can't get into a rut because no 2 jobs are exactly alike. You can read the work order, and what it reads may not be exactly the problem you have when you get out there until you talk to the person who's filed the complaint. That serves 2 purposes. I guess I love my job more than anything because I work with a great bunch of people. You get to see a result, and people actually benefit from a result of what you do instead of hearing about it third hand, and it's an essential function. You know, is it the only thing that keeps the school systems running? Obviously not, but without us, they would have to look elsewhere, and they'd be hard-pressed to find the people that are as talented as we have.
40 years ago, our school district hired a new coach to teach some driver's education classes at Vanguard High School. And through the years, that teacher moved around some, but eventually returned to Marion County to be principal at 2 of our high schools. Back then, he was known as Coach Yancey, but today he's known as Superintendent Yancey. And this month, he retires after a very distinguished 40-year career of teaching our kids. For the final time, here's my boss, Jim Yancey, with this month's Superintendent Spotlight.
Hi, I'm out here today with Mike Hearn. We're playing a little golf in the Jim Frazier Memorial Golf Tournament, which benefits United Way. I want to thank everybody for all they've done to support me over the last 9.5 years as superintendent of schools. I appreciate everything everybody's done, parents and community. It's been my privilege to serve the community, and I look forward to, and you should look forward to, the great leadership coming from a new superintendent of schools on November 20th. Thanks. It's been great. I'm going to have a great life. I hope you do too. Have a good day.
Mr. Yancey, thank you for serving our kids, our community, and our causes for the last 40 years. We wish you only the best as you retire. And with that, we say goodbye to you as well, at least for today's show. Thanks for watching, and parents, remember, be there for your child every day.